Welcome to the Co-Movement Gym podcast, where we inspire people to move and live courageously. Today, it's Andy and I in the studio, and we're talking about electrolytes.
Yeah, kind of a cool topic considering we just got a new sponsor, which is Redmond, and they make a great product called Re-Lyte, which is an electrolyte formula. And this is something that we've used for a little while. So we're really happy to have them sponsoring the show, and figured it'd be a good time to do an episode on electrolytes and what they are and why they're important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was thrilled when we were sponsored by Redmond, because for a long time I was looking for an electrolyte product that I could trust, because there's a lot of them out there. And I don't know, there's a lot of artificial flavors and whatnot in there. And then you put me on to the Re-Lyte supplement. And so we're going to do an episode.
Yeah, we were ordering it off Amazon for a while and then got the sponsorship. So yeah, now we got a little deal for us and our members through that. We can throw that in at the end.
Yes.
But yeah, do you know, if we just jump into like, what are electrolytes? What's your general idea? I'm wondering what most people think when they think of electrolytes.
The first thing I think of is energy.
Okay, yep, that's a big
and I'm
part.
sure that's very generalized, but I know that it's sodium, potassium, magnesium, right?
Yep.
Again, it's, but I think of, like, we sweat a lot during the day, especially during exercise, and when electrolytes are off, at least in myself, energy and strength, everything like disappears.
Right.
It just is a bad situation.
Right.
And I think that I've noticed even in like day to day, when I'm not working out, but just busy in general, sometimes I'll get like a low energy after lunch or something. And I'm thinking, like, you know, why is that? And then I've been drinking the Re-Lyte supplement for electrolytes during the day.
Yep.
And holy cow, it's like a shot of caffeine almost, you know, without the caffeine.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you just hit on a lot of things. And that was all pretty much right. That's a good general overview of electrolytes. They're usually just minerals. There's a few proteins also that work as electrolytes, but they're usually just minerals. And they're things that help your body run smoothly. They play an essential role in nerve conduction, muscle contractions, regulating fluid balance between like your blood and your interstitial fluid and your cells, and maintaining acid base, like pH levels. So they're really, really important for all those like really basic physiological pieces. They also support hormone and tissue production, which was something I learned when I was researching this, which is pretty cool. And you gave some examples already. So the three that you gave so far were what?
The energy.
Well, no, the three examples of electrolytes.
Sodium.
Yep.
Potassium. Yeah. Magnesium.
Yeah, those are probably the big three. There's a lot of different electrolytes out there: sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium is an electrolyte. Okay. Bicarbonate, phosphate, and many others. But chloride, that's another big one. Yep. So the main ones though are sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. Okay. So like some of them, the sodium, the chloride, the bicarbonate, these are concentrated in your blood plasma, like outside of the cells. And then other ones like magnesium, potassium, phosphate, these ones are more concentrated inside your cells. But electrolytes are always just moving back and forth between, like, from inside your cells to outside and between different spaces. And your body's always trying to keep the correct balance of electrolytes in the areas where they're supposed to be.
Sure.
So anyway, it basically, your body regulates its hydration status and its acid-base balance by moving those electrolytes back and forth between different areas. And
yeah, that's interesting. Like, because you could be hydrated properly, but low on electrolytes. Yeah. And so I want people to understand that. I don't know the science behind that, but I know that you could drink a gallon of water a day, but unless you're replacing electrolytes, it's sort of futile to a degree, right?
Right. Because like I said, electrolytes are really important in maintaining hydration status and having fluids go where they're supposed to go. And one of the problems, we'll touch on this in a bit, but when people, especially like athletes and stuff, are drinking a lot of water,
Mhm.
they're getting all that fluid, but they don't have the electrolytes in there as well to kind of get the fluid where it's supposed to be. And they end up
Absolutely.
they end up diluting their electrolytes
Sure,
by drinking all
sure,
that water.
sure.
So maybe real quick, just some symptoms of electrolyte imbalance.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
think you mentioned a couple of them already.
Yep. For me, it's just like you hit the wall, like it's a bonk,
Yeah.
you know, weaker,
Mhm.
lack of energy.
Yep.
The other
That's one of
thing,
the biggest ones because
okay.
they're so important in energy production. You know,
Mhm.
they're part of how muscles contract, how nerves communicate.
Mhm.
You know, so they're massively important in energy levels. So
Mhm.
people that find themselves fatigued or lethargic, low
Mhm.
energy,
Yep.
they hit a wall, like you said.
Mhm.
These are people that might be deficient in electrolytes.
And then they go for more caffeine,
Right. Yeah.
and that's a lot of, or the sugar.
And caffeine is not supplying any electrolytes, but it is putting
Yes.
more water in, which is just further diluting your electrolytes.
Sure, sure. The other thing I've noticed in myself, and I think you've experienced this too, but cramping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, it's like quads and sometimes abs. I know that if my electrolytes are off,
Mhm.
you know, I get those cramps. So
Yeah, that's probably the second biggest reason people take electrolytes.
Mhm.
And, you know, that's why athletes are always trying to use typically Gatorade, but some sort of electrolyte formula to help prevent muscle cramping.
Mhm,
Yeah, but even people who get like night cramps, who lay in bed at night and they get calf cramps, that
sure,
sort of thing,
sure.
a lot of times it's just a lack of electrolytes in their body. And that's a very easy fix. And it's something that people complain about a lot.
I
We
was
hear it
just
all the
gonna say,
time,
I was just gonna say, we hear that all. I didn't, because we always say take magnesium,
which is
which
an
is
important
an
electrolyte. Yep.
important electrolyte. Now, knowing that this provides electrolytes, increase energy or improves energy or balances energy, can you take that before bed? Like, would you want to drink
Oh, yeah.
Re-Lyte?
It's not stimulating in any way.
Okay,
It gives your
okay.
body the electrolytes that it needs to have proper energy levels, you know?
Gotcha.
So, but it's not
Okay.
going to like over energize you or
Sure.
anything before bed.
Because there was sometimes like in the later afternoon where I'm like, man, maybe I'll have, you know, an
Well,
electrolyte drink.
I took some
And then-
before bed last night.
And you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally fine. Yep.
Cool.
So we hit low energy, brain fog, lethargy, irritability and confusion.
Mhm.
Headache is a big one. Often that's because of low sodium more than anything.
Okay, let's talk about
Yeah.
that for a second. Because there are sometimes, maybe twice a month, where I'll wake up in the morning
Mhm.
and I will feel like sucked dry, like dehydrated.
Yeah,
Okay. And I get a very bad tension headache in my upper traps, lower neck.
Hmm.
And it is 100% because I had sweat a ton in the
Probably your
later
BJJ.
afternoon. Yes, later afternoon or evening. And then I will drink what I think is sufficient enough before bed.
You'll rehydrate. Yep.
And it's not rehydrated, or I am, but I have no electrolytes.
Right. Yeah.
And dude, I wake up, I am telling you, I crave salt.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like I don't even think about it. I'm like, go for the salt shaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Putting
literally,
teaspoons on your
I tip
scrambled
my
eggs.
head back and I eat salt.
Yep.
And then I pound water, and then I'll eat salt, pound water. And then I'll tell you, within a half hour, oh my God, I feel like a whole new person.
Yep.
But I did it. And this is crazy. We're doing this episode now. Last night, we had the jiu-jitsu belt test.
Yeah.
I didn't get home till like 8:30 at night, soaked in sweat, whatever. Came home, had a big meal, had a ton of water, no electrolytes.
Mhm.
And I woke up this morning at 6 a.m. and my fucking head killed and my neck.
Yeah.
And like, I was like literally laying in bed like, oh. And then I got up and I had salt, real salt from Redmond.
Yep.
And then I had water, and within a half hour, it's totally fine. So,
Awesome. Yeah. So you could have gone home last night and when you rehydrated before bed, had a scoop of this.
Totally.
And probably saved yourself that agony in the morning.
I just learned that today. So that's really
Sweet.
good. Okay. Cool.
All right. There we go. Muscle weakness, muscle cramping, lack of coordination, lack of balance. All of these things are symptoms of low electrolytes.
Sure.
Or electrolyte imbalances. Sometimes you have too much of one and not enough of another.
Sure.
Which is why the ratios are important. Another thing that I like about Re-Lyte is they're in the proper ratios.
Okay.
And then also I'll throw in GI upset, and it could be like a gurgling stomach, diarrhea, constipation. Electrolytes are really important in kind of keeping your digestive system happy.
That's really interesting because a ton of people struggle with
Yeah.
digestive issues.
Yeah,
And I wonder if, and obviously it can be many factors.
of course. Yeah.
But electrolytes could be, an electrolyte imbalance could be something there.
Yeah.
Huh.
So for anyone listening that, we just read down the list of signs and symptoms of an imbalance of electrolytes. I think a lot of those are going to kind of ring for a lot of people that, oh yeah, I deal with that. I deal with that. I deal with that.
Sure.
Electrolyte supplements are a pretty cheap and easy fix for some of these things. And
Yeah.
I mean, if that's all that you need and you don't have those issues anymore,
For sure.
that's pretty nice.
For sure. This here, and actually I will speak to that quick. When you turned me on to Re-Lyte, I was hesitant at first because of cost, but it's not expensive.
No.
So there's other brands out there where it's like $2 or $2.50 a serving.
Right.
This is 60 servings for $40.
Yeah.
Which is less than $1 a serving. And then with their code COMO15, you get 10% off. So it's even cheaper. But like I said, there's 2 or 3 other brands that I'm aware of that it is over $2 a serving. And for me, I was like, I don't know, I don't want to spend 12, 16, 20 bucks a week in electrolytes times 4 is 80 bucks a month.
Yeah.
But then I ran the math on this and I was like, you know what? This is not even a dent in the budget.
No, but one of these canisters will last me a month,
Me too. Or over a month for me.
Yep.
So
for just $40, that's, and with the discount code too, that's not bad at all.
No.
And compared to the fact that like, a lot of people, if they are thinking about electrolytes, will go and drink Gatorade or Powerade or something.
Sure.
Have you seen go to a convenience store, what a bottle of Gatorade
What
costs
is it going
now?
for? I don't even look at it.
$2
for a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
For just one single serving bottle of Gatorade.
How does their ratios compare to something like this? Because I don't.
So yeah, it's no comparison at all.
Okay.
When Gatorade first came out, I think it was like in the late 70s. It was a fantastic product. It wasn't made to be mass marketed. It was made for the Florida Gators, the football team.
Yep.
And what they came out with was basically a formula that was in powder form, just like this. And it was loaded with electrolytes. It had a lot of sodium, a lot of potassium, just like this formula.
I remember the powdered Gatorade.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep. But then it tasted terrible.
Sure.
Back when, in the 70s when they made that.
Yep.
And eventually they decided that they wanted to go mainstream and like market this to the whole US population, and no one was going to drink that stuff. So what they did was they completely changed the formula. They added a bunch of sugar, artificial sweeteners, flavors, colors, all that kind of stuff.
In the powder.
Nope. This is when they went to the, well, they might've had a powder version.
Because I wasn't even born in the 70s, but I drank a powder.
So they did have a powder version. You're right. But eventually, like we know Gatorade and Powerade now, they've moved to just liquid versions.
Sure.
And the other thing they did was they decreased the amount of electrolytes drastically. So for example, this Re-Lyte formula that we like gives you 1,500 milligrams of sodium. Gatorade gives you 150. So it's 10 times, there's 10 times more in here.
Wow.
Gatorade gives you about 40 milligrams of potassium. This gives you 400.
Sorry,
this gives you 800, so 20 times more.
So Gatorade is mainly water and sugar.
Yep, water and sugar, and then like some chemicals to make it look neon colored and
sure. Blue, 5, yellow, whatever.
Yep. So really, Gatorade these days isn't even an electrolyte drink. It's got a very tiny amount. It's more just like for rehydrating because it's still 99% water.
Yep.
And for the sugar, which if you're running a marathon or something, if I'm 16 miles into a marathon and I've got another 10 miles to go, sure, give me some sugar.
Sure.
But for most people who just want to like increase their electrolytes, they don't want the added sugar.
No. And I'm assuming Powerade, probably the
same thing. Yeah.
All
of them.
How about like, is it Pedialyte? I know people that drink that, like if they're sick or something, they're like, oh, I drink that, I feel way better after.
I've never looked at the nutrition facts on Pedialyte.
Okay.
So yeah, I couldn't speak to how much
kids,
is in there.
But I know adults supplement it.
I'm sure it's not as concentrated in electrolytes as Re-Lyte is, but I don't know exactly how much.
Cool.